Welcome in, my beautiful builders. In today's episode, we're going to take this very simple bridge and turn it into that. Let's get into it. So I've been getting quite a few comments recently on my videos telling me how terrible my voice sounds, and now I'm actually sick. So my voice sounds even worse. So you know what? This video is being dedicated to the trolls. Welcome in, guys. But in the last video, ladies and gentlemen, we worked over here at our villagers, getting ourselves a bunch of stonemasons set up so that we could trade them in stone and get some emeralds. And since that episode dropped, I actually have added quite a few more villagers to our setup over here. Starting off with this dude, a nice farmer that has been leveled all the way up so that we can now trade him for golden carrots. So I'm now going to be munching on these guys during the episodes because their saturation is actually the best in the game. So this trade is actually totally worth it to me. I would like to get this guy healed up so it wasn't 3 emeralds, it was 1, but still worth it to me. But this is not the only guy that I have added. I've also extended our little hole in the wall out in this direction to make room for all of the librarians that we're going to need. Starting off with this guy. He is a brand new mending villager for 15 emeralds. Not a great trade, but it really doesn't matter because once we heal him up, this is going to go down to 1 emerald. He also has a pretty good flame trade, so that's not bad either. This one's protection 1 and this one's impaling 4. Those two I don't really care about that much, but the glass trade is really good because we can buy all this glass up and then go and trade with this cartographer guy that I have over here, glass panes to emeralds. So another way for us to make emeralds, but this guy definitely needs to be healed as well from a zombie villager because, yeah, 11 panes, I'd much rather have that all the way down at 1. So gonna have to heal that guy up as well. But this dude is a Silk Touch villager, and then this guy is a Unbreaking 3 villager. So we have a good little start here, and I'm probably just going to work on these guys in between episodes because, I mean, otherwise you're just gonna see me break this, place this, break this, place over and over again. That's boring, so I'm just going to give you guys updates on how we're doing with this. Okay, so moving right along into today's build, I want to work on this bridge. This is the bridge that connects from that village over there into our villager trading hall. It also connects up our villager breeder that's over in this mountain somewhere to our villager trading hall as well. So this bridge is going to get a little bit of traffic from both us and the villagers that are being moved over. So I want to make it nice and big, widen it out a little bit, and then decorate it to where it is absolutely gorgeous. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just widen this guy out. I'm thinking 3 blocks wide, just so that it's nice and easy to walk on for us. The villagers, it doesn't really matter because they're going to be in a minecart going across this thing. But for me, I like to run basically everywhere that I go, and running on a 1 block wide walkway, it makes me a little bit nervous. So I'm just going to widen this thing out first thing, and then we'll worry about decorating this thing up a bit. Okay, so I've went ahead and added in a polished andesite slab trim to the side of the bridge, and that's just going to add a slight overhang to the bridge that I think is going to look really nice. I also marked out the center of where the bridge is, and when I came down here into the water, the land masses were not even. Like, they didn't come out to where it looked like that was the center, because this landmass stretched out to like over here, and that landmass is already to out here. So this just didn't feel like it was the center of the river. It felt like it was, I don't know, off center in some way. So all that I did was I trimmed back this mountain a bit and widened out this river. So now this feels a whole lot more centered than it did. It was already center, but like I just trimmed this back so it feels more center. It's center. So while I go ahead and get these pillars in, I do want to ask you guys a question, because I've seen a few people in the comment section below talk about how they don't like me going through the build the way that I do. Like, they don't like me telling you each step that I do throughout my building process. And I'm kind of wondering what the general audience thinks about that. Like, do you guys like me walking you through, we're going to do this now, and then this now, and then this now? Or do you guys kind of like just, watching me do it while we talk about something else? I'm a little bit curious about this because I've always taken the stance of I want to teach people how to build. Like, I want to show you guys how I do the things that I do. But if that's something that you guys, don't particularly like, then, by all means, these videos are in a way, made for you guys. So I would love your input. I would love to hear what you guys say about this. Do you guys want me to continue, telling you about the trim piece that I added and how I'm leaving a big enough gap between these two pillars so I have room to walk through? Or I don't know. I would just like your guys' feedback with how you think the videos are going, because I am reading the comments. I may not reply to every one of them, but I am reading them because, well, that's the only way I know things to change and how to get better. Because I always thought that I was being helpful by showing people my thought process behind building, and apparently some people kind of find it annoying, I guess, in a way, of me showing every step of how I do something. And that wasn't really my intention. My intention was kind of showing, here's what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, rather than a block by block tutorial. But I don't know. I would just really like to hear your guys' thoughts on this. It's something that, it's a criticism that I think could be justified. It could be one of those things that, I kind of agree with you a little bit. But at the same time, I also don't want to leave that audience behind that is like, hardcore, wants to see exactly how I build things so that they can build, replicas or change things up or whatever. So, I don't know. Would just like to know your guys' thoughts, so put them down in the comment section down below. Would love to hear from you guys. But anyway, I guess until I get some feedback, I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing and building while giving you guys a little bit of explanation about why I'm doing things. So, for the walls of these pillars, I'm actually going with actual walls in the front and back. And the reason for this actually adds a little bit of depth, but not a full block depth by doing this. So if we go ahead and fall down here into the water and we take a look up, you can tell that the build definitely has some ridge to it, a little bit of a lip, but it's not super deep. It's not a deep dip like a full block back would be. And it's just something to add a little bit of, a different look to your build. And that's actually 2 pillars in place. And I think this looks pretty good. It's going to look a lot better when we have all the pillars in place. But, overall, I'm happy with this thus far. Another thing that I'm doing is I am keeping the side walls as solid blocks. So this is andesite going all the way up with no ridge. And then at the front, at the faces of the pillars, those have the walls on them. That way, these look like they have depth, but the insides look like they're purely for support. So I think it's a nice little bit of a difference, just a little bit of differentiation to the build that looks quite nice. I also just realized that my connecting piece is not on this pillar. I need to go and add that in. It's just a little bit of a trim piece that connects the pillar to the outside edge. But yeah, it definitely needs it on this one. Okay, so I fixed that, and taking a step back from the build, and I have to say that I like the overall shape of this thing, but it still needs a bit of work. First off, I think I want to add in a accent block, and I think I'm going to go with polished deep slate once again. I used this on the entrance to my kingdom a few episodes back, and it turned out looking really nice. And I think that we can do the exact same thing here by taking out this center block for the trim there and there at the top of each of the pillars and just put in some polished deep slate. It'll add a nice bit of accent to there and just make it stand out a little bit more. I also think I want to come in and these walls that are going backward, rather than having them, kind of striped, I think I want to mix in some stone brick going all the way up so that looks a little bit different as well. So just some texture differences, really. I like the shape of this, but having in some different colored textures, I think would really make this whole thing look a lot better. Also a ridge to the top, and I'm not entirely sure how I want to do that yet. I'm not sure if I want to come in with slabs and just do slabs like every other block or something like that. That could look really cool, and because it's such a low wall, you could still see if like a minecart or something like that is going over the top of it. You could still see it from the water, which could be a kind of cool effect. So, I don't know, something I'm going to think about, and yeah, I think I'm going to think about that while we're in super fast build mode. Time-lapse time. Okay, so even after super fast build mode, I still think that this is going to be a nice accent block. I think that we do need a difference of color here, so I'm just going to add this in to the tops of each one of these pillars, and then we'll take another look at it. I think that this is going to give it a nice little touch of flair though, and I think it's going to turn out looking really cool. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and give this a little bit of a look. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Just a little bit of a pop, just a little bit of a flare at the top, but you know what? It really does change the look of the build quite a bit, doesn't it? It really does. It gives it a little bit more of a grungy look to it. I like it. I do. I think that that looks cool. Okay, so we're going to keep that. And now I think I just need to do a little bit of texturing. Get in some stone bricks into these pillars, mixed in a bit, and I think we'll be good for the bridge itself. All right, here we go. This is important. This is important. Whee! Yum! Yeah, I'd say it's plenty big enough for us to fly through. Oh, man. Oh, I love how this looks, too. The texturing really does it. It really does. It makes it look like it's older. And it's been, like, patched up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I really like this. Yes, I did go and get my elytra and some rockets specifically for that. I haven't been using my elytra much lately because I actually don't have a ton of rockets, so I'm kind of using my elytra sparingly. But I like getting around in the world on foot anyway, so I am completely okay with not using it all that much anyway. Okay, so I just had another idea because honestly, while the bridge does look pretty good, if I do say so myself, I do feel like it's a little bit out of place right now because there's no other structures around it. So I think what I want to do is add in a building on each side of the bridge. So maybe on this side that has the mountain on it, we'll add in some type of tower, and then maybe on this side we'll add in barracks or some type of living quarters or something like that onto this mountainside. I think that will make the bridge feel a little bit more like it belongs in this area. You know, normally I have somewhat of an idea of what I want to do for a build before I start, but yeah, I think in this case I'm just gonna wing it. So like in my head, right, this is kind of a bottom base portion of a circle. So this is like 5 across, then we'd have a 1 block, and then we would have another 5 across here, right? But I actually want to build this tower into the landscape itself. So I don't actually want to touch any of this, and I would rather just kind of keep track of it in my head. So like 1, 2, 3, and then this should be andesite, and then there should be another 3 that goes here. But in this case, I'm not actually going to do that, and instead I'm just going to add 1 there, and then it should be 3 here, I think. This is going to be kind of hard to keep track of, but I think this is going to come out okay. I'm hoping. This is... I probably should have done some planning, but you know what? We're committed now. Ooh, and some deep slate bricks. That could look really cool coming up these corners rather than andesite. Yeah, it would give it a nice darker vibe to this tower. So I don't know if this is making any sense, but I'm going to try and explain it. So We had this bigger circle out here, and then I wanted my tower to be a smaller circle. And like I said, I don't want to touch the landscaping, so I have the circle going with the land. So as the land goes up and there's no more land underneath, then I start building my tower. But if there's land there, then I just kind of morph my tower into the landscape. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but this wall up here doesn't actually start until here, because that is the first point in which there's no more naturally generating land. And it starts way down here for this section, because we're just kind of building it into the mountainside. I don't know if this is making any sense, and I don't know if it's helpful, but that was my plan. I need a roof on this thing. It's also builds like this that remind me that we really need to have an adventure episode to go and get some scaffolding, because this is becoming quite the pain to keep getting up and down. Maybe we'll have to do an episode of that this week. I really need to find a desert, and I really need to find some bamboo. Also, something that I do just quickly want to mention is if you're struggling with a build in survival, it is okay to go into a creative world and do a little bit of testing. I was actually really struggling with this roof, so I actually went to creative, made a mock-up tower, and figured out my roof design there, and now I'm just simply recreating it from a screenshot here in survival. So if you're struggling in your world, it's always a good idea to go into creative where you have unlimited materials and you can fly around in order to plan things out. That's totally okay. You don't have to build everything on the fly. So now that's looking pretty good. That's not bad, to be honest. It definitely still needs some detail on the actual tube part of the tower, the part that's going straight up. But I think if we get some windows in and maybe a little bit of like an awning, some type of wood awning over top the windows, I think that that'll be enough detailing for this tower. And honestly, pretty good. Not bad. And since I still don't have any glass, fences are going to be our windows. So taking a look from down here in the water, and I think it's good. I do. I think it's fine. It's a little bit simple, but I mean, it didn't really need to be overly complex anyway, right? It just needed to have something on the other side of this bridge, and I think that this works nice. It's a nice little tower. Nothing super impressive, nothing insane, but it works. All right, on to the other build. So for this building, I have a bit of a rough idea for what I want to do, and we're just going to see if we can pull it off. So first thing, I want to go with a really big arch on this side of the bridge, because I think by doing a really big arch, it'll feel like we're going toward a tunnel, like we're entering into this massive cliffside. And I think that's going to feel really cool. Even though it's going to be a part of a building, I think that this overall shape will just, add a little bit of a feel to the area. So big arch on this side. And then I also think that it could be cool if we had this building hang over the water a little bit. So just like a little jut out this way, and then maybe we can make like a decorative pillar or something like that that goes down into the water. So we're going to go for kind of an L shape here, and we'll have to tie in this roof to whatever roof we do over here, but I think it'll be fine. I don't think we'll have too much of an issue there. And then in the middle, at the back, I think I want to do some type of tower that goes up, just so that we have something that's equal, or maybe not completely equal, but close to equal height as this tower. That way, whenever we're looking out there from the water, things are kind of on the same level, at least visually. That way it doesn't look like one side's way shorter than the other. Okay, that's my idea. Those are all my ideas. Let's get into it. Let's just see how it goes. I have a rough skeleton of the build now laid out, so let me try and explain a little bit more of what I'm trying to do. So first off, we have our big arch right up here at the front. Perfect. Now what we're going to do is have some nice big windows going down the sides of the building. And then toward the back, like I said, I want a nice big tower toward the back that's going to reach up to about the height of that roof. It may even go over. I'm not entirely sure how high I want to go with this yet, but that's going to be where our tower is. And then over on this side, I actually have another arched roof, but it's not as tall. It doesn't go up as high as this one. And I think that that's going to add a little bit of interest to the build by having two different roof heights here. But I still have to tie that in to where it looks okay. So I'm going to add a subroof here that's going to tie this roof into the tower. So kind of imagine we're going to have a roof here that's going to go out a little bit. So kind of a A-frame style roof there, a roof going here, and then another roof going here, all tying into this central tower. And then obviously the tower is going to have a roof as well. So 4 roofs total for this entire building. But I think that because we're going to have so many different roof heights, it's actually going to make it pretty interesting looking. That's the hope anyway. So that's kind of the plan. I think that it's time to time-lapse this thing now, and let's see where we end up. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is kind of a classic case of I had an idea and I thought it would look kind of cool. That did not come out looking good at all. Okay, tearing down this pillar, I'm gonna have to come up with a different idea. It's always funny to me whenever I end up building something really ugly in Minecraft, because a lot of the times those ideas just come from, oh, hey, that sounds like a cool idea. Let's try and do it on the fly. And I end up making some type of monstrosity like we just did. I mean, it was a good thought, but this did not come out looking good at all. So back to the drawing board on how we're getting a pillar to hold up this part of the building. I mean, alternatively, I could just like build out the land to hold this up, but I don't know. I really want to get like a pillar or stilts or something like that coming down into the water. But this just goes to show that not all ideas are good ideas. So if you ever have a build that you're struggling with, maybe it's time to go back to the drawing board like I'm doing here. Even the most experienced builders in the world, we sometimes make stupid mistakes, stupid things that, we wish that we hadn't done. So, it's just one of those things that as you get more experience with building, you'll take a step back and be like, "Eesh, what was I thinking?" That was one of those times. Okay, new idea and hopefully better idea. I've went ahead and extended this all the way down into the water, and I like this better. I do. I may actually bring that stone brick out to where it's even with the spruce here, but overall, better already. The whole pillar thing, yeah, not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. However, you'll see I'm doing something else over here because I think that it just looks too long. It looks too long and I don't particularly like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down another portion of this build, and I'm going to kind of extend our landscape here, this little jut out. I'm going to kind of make it to where it matches up to the bottom down here. And a balcony with like some flowers and stuff like that on the side of this building. It'll add another little thing to look at, as well as it'll make this not look so weird, because it'll be like one tier way up here and then one tier here. It'll look better. It'll look better rather than just one thing sticking all the way into the water. Having two things coming down, I think it'll look good. There's quite a bit of experimenting going on in today's video, I'm not gonna lie. So it's been a couple of hours. I just keep changing things on this build. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is pretty difficult. I didn't plan anything to do with this build in creative beforehand, so I'm just doing this entire thing on the fly, and that's making changing things out take a long time. But I think I have this in a pretty good shape. There's still some things that definitely need to be done to it. So Let's go over the things I've done. First off, I added in a slight overhang to this roof and this roof. As you can see, the brick now comes down by a half slab at the bottom, and then we also bring out a stone brick stair as kind of a jut out from our arch on each side. So arch, little jut out, arch, little jut out on each side, and that just matches up with that ledge nicely. I've also detailed out this part just a bit inside of that roof. Mostly just made a hole and put some fences in it. Did the same thing in that little under spot right there underneath the tower. But I mean, overall, it's looking better. It's looking more like a complete build. It could still use some texturing. It could still use some of the more fine details. But I think that now it's starting to come together a lot better than it was before. I still want to do something with this part down here. I'm thinking maybe hanging a massive banner coming down just to kind of cover up that stone brick texture and just, you know, add another detail into this. But I don't really have a banner design right now, so may not be something that I, you know, prioritize. But yeah, overall, it's looking good. It's looking good. I need glass, though. I need glass badly. I may just, like, find a sand pocket down here and get some glass temporarily to fill in some of these windows that I really want to be glass, because fences are fine, but in some areas fences just won't do. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go grab some glass real quick just from this sand underneath the water. I kind of hate doing that because it's annoying mining things underwater, but whatever. I need sand and I need windows, so we're gonna do it. We're going to do it. Let's grab some sand real quick and get some windows in. I also just realized that 100% I could have just traded my villagers for glass. So, totally didn't need to do that. Okay. Glass is done. Let's go ahead and fill in some of these windows. Ooh, pretty. I love this light gray glass. I used to not be a big fan of it, and I used to like the white more, but now I'm really falling in love with just that light gray. Oh, it looks so good. It looks so good. Oh man, I never thought I'd be so excited to have glass, but you know, some things you just take for granted in Minecraft. And sand is one of those things that I always take for granted because I usually have a desert. Fairly easy to find, but not in this world, apparently. Not in this world at all. Not in this world. I've had such a hard time finding any desert or anything like that. I think this needs to be Windows 2, right? Yeah. This probably needs to be Windows 2. Go ahead and throw some glass in here. Yeah. That looks good. Glass here. Oh, I got a little bit left. We're good. And up there. How am I? Let's just pillar up. See, this is why we need scaffolding. That adventure trip has to happen, ladies and gentlemen. It has to happen. So I tell you what, later this week, I'm definitely going to do a adventure video. So here's what I want you guys to do. On adventures, there's not always a ton to talk about. So, for this adventure trip, I say that we do a Q&A. Let's do a Q&A. You guys leave your questions down in the comment section down below, because we have like 2,000 new subscribers or something. So, a lot of you guys are probably pretty unfamiliar with me. So, good time for a Q&A. Very good time for a Q&A. So, leave them down in the comments. In that adventure episode, we will cover some of your questions. I moved my bed into that building. But let's go ahead and take a look up on top of this very large pillar. And actually, the windows don't do a whole lot because they're kind of see-through. I was expecting a big change here, but to be honest, because they're light gray glass, I mean, you can tell a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal, just being honest. Okay, all right, that was anticlimactic. That was very anticlimactic. Are you kidding me? I had glass there the whole time. Anyway, the last thing that I want to do in today's episode is get that banner in place. And I may change out this banner later on whenever I come up with a theme for the city. But for right now, I just want to get, something in place. Something is better than nothing. So any type of banner color, really, will be fine. Will be fine with me for today. So wool. I need to go out and get wool because I don't have a ton of string. So I need to find some sheep friends. And I mean, I guess these sheep are hardly my friends because I'm not going to be bringing them back to my base. No, I don't have a place for them right now. So maybe mild acquaintance. Maybe that's a better way to describe these sheep. We are mildly acquainted because I'm exploiting them for their wool and leaving them out in the rain. It's kind of dark whenever you think about it like that. Oh, is that a white horse? Well, that is a white horse. Hello, white horse. Oh, it's a second white horse. I like white horsies. Hold on. Can you guys... Are you guys fast or anything? Oh, you're not very, very nice. You're not very nice at all. What about you? Are you fast? I want you to run. You're not running at all. Oh! Well, okay, I guess we're best friends forever, but I have no idea how quick you are. Run! I don't have a saddle. Run! You kind of suck, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, alright, well, you stay here. Apparently we're friends now. I may come back for you. Maybe. Probably not. I wouldn't wait for me. That's for sure. I may or may not have accidentally hugged a creeper. Okay, so temporary banner added in, and... I think it works. I think that it works. It may be lowered down by a block, though. That would look better. And with that banner in place, I have to say, it's okay. It's okay. I'm really not sure how I feel about the banner yet, to be honest with you, though. It's kind of bulky for this size of build, so I don't know. It's kind of like I like the idea of it, but maybe I don't like the execution of it here. I don't know. It may be something that I leave for right now and come back to later, as well as the rest of this build still needs to be textured and all, so I'm going to have to come back to this at some point in the future anyway. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is actually all that I have time for today. We are way over our time, but that's because we had 3 pretty big builds in today's episode. We had ourselves this barracks, I guess, over to the left-hand side. We have our tower over to the right, and then we have our bridge in the middle. And honestly, I think that this is a successful episode, even if the build isn't completely how I like it. Like, I still think there's some changes that could happen here. I think it's good. And it probably just needs to be touched up some in the future. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for me today. I do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like on the video, as well as if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. You guys have a great day.